measuring the weather.
How?
I'm using weather instruments that a meteorologist would use.
Why?
That's the best way to know exactly what is happening. The only way to predict the weather is to first measure it.
How?
I'll start with a thermometer. That's a tool that tells us how hot or cold it is. It measures how much heat from the sun is left over in the air.
Oh.
The number on the thermometer shows what the temperature is. When the number is bigger, the air is hotter. Since heat makes air move as wind, we need to measure the wind too.
Why?
Because the wind speed and the wind direction tell us what kind of weather we will get.
How?
If the wind comes from a cold place, then our weather gets colder. And if the wind comes from a wet place, then the weather gets wetter. Hundreds of years ago, people knew that.
How?
They used an instrument called a wind vane, and you can still see them on top of barns and some houses. The wind blows the vane, and the vane points to where the wind came from. Wind can now be used to make electricity.
How?
By spinning the blades on something that looks like a giant fan. It's called a wind turbine. Before people figured out how to generate electricity, wind was used to do work like pumping water from the ground or grinding wheat for farmers using a windmill. Wind was also used by tall ships that sailed across the ocean carrying people and food.
Why?
Because it makes our lives easier to have wind do work for us. No matter what we do, the wind will keep blowing. We just don't want it to blow too hard. There's a weather instrument that measures how fast wind is, and that's called a wind gauge. It can look like little cups spinning or like the propeller of an airplane. That lets meteorologists put a number on the wind speed, and once you know the number, that can help you.
How?
When the number is small, wind is light, and the weather is usually calm. But as the number gets bigger, it means the wind could blow the hat off your head. And it might make it hard for trucks to stay on the road. When the number is really large, it tells you a storm is near, and we all need to be inside a strong building.
Why?
Strong storms are dangerous. If we stay outside in a storm, we could get hit by things flying in the air.
How?
Because wind can push things, roll them, pick them up, and carry them.
Why?
Because air is heavy. It's invisible, but air is still strong enough to knock down a tree if it is moving fast enough.